Hi, welcome to the Kick-Ass Irreverent side quest BARF episode for Respawn Aim Fire. I am Holden DePardo, and this is with me Chad Michael Jonas.
Howdy doody, that's not my last name.
It's not Jonas?
Nope.
I was under the impression it's been Jonas this entire time we've known each other.
It is Innis, spelled I-N-N-I-S. I as in indigo, N as in Nancy, N as in nap time, I as in idioteca, S as in suck on that, motherfucker.
We're talking about Titanfall 2 today. That was our BARF game for the month of July, and holy moly, I think this might be my favorite BARF game that we've ever played.
What? First of all, what does BARF mean?
BARF is backlog accomplishments with Respawn and friends. Basically, we pick a game in our backlog that we want to play, or sometimes just games that we want each other to play. and this week it was Titanfall 2. We do it differently now. We used to just kind of pick it ourselves. Now we each alternate on picking what games are available in a poll for our Patreon supporters to choose. So if you want to decide what games we're playing from that poll, patreon.com/respawnaimfire.
It's too late to do it now. You guys have already chosen Doom for August. But if you want to subscribe in August, you can vote for September's.
Yes, and Chad will be offering the selection for September and October, and it'll come back to me actually in January, because November, December, we're going to be doing kind of just games for Game of the Year.
We're going to figure out how to do that with Patreon.
Yeah.
TBD.
We'll figure it out.
That's how the peanut butter gets squished.
So, Chad, Titanfall 2. What are
do you
your
have any factoids or anything like that about Titanfall 2?
No, I didn't. You do that stuff. I don't really do that stuff. Which is surprising because I love doing the research.
Damn it. Hold on. I thought you would have numbers
and statistics. I do know that this was an underrated game because EA decided to release this game within the same window as Battlefield 1. Both games owned by EA, and they said that they were doing this because it would give Titanfall 2 a better chance, which is idiotic. That's why no one bought the game.
Yeah, that's right. It was like a week after Battlefield 1, a week before Call of Duty.
Yeah, it was
Something
just
like
shoehorned in a really bad place, and it's unfortunate because I really loved this game.
Before we talk about why we loved
shooter.
it, what made you skip it? I was thinking about that right now. I was like, why did I not play this game?
I was always interested in Titanfall 2 just because I'm like, oh, the mechs and all that looks really cool. But I'm not really a big first-person shooter person in general. Although this year I'm really warmed up to the genre a lot more. And this, I think, kind of put the nail in the coffin of like, well, not nail in the coffin, but like solidified, no, this is a great genre where really cool things can be done. So I really don't know why I didn't play it then, other than I just wasn't really big into FPSs at the time. But if they make a Titanfall 3, I'm sure as hell not skipping that.
Ooh.
What about you?
I think I skipped. I was literally thought of this question like 2 minutes ago, and I was thinking to myself, I think I skipped it because Titanfall 1 was 100% multiplayer online only, and for so much of my life, I've not been that person. We'll see if that's changed with this game. So immediately I was like, oh, Titanfall 2? I know there's going to be a single-player campaign to this one now for 2, but I wasn't sure that it was going to be. I was like, it's obviously not going to be their focus. It's going to be a side product to please people who wanted it, but multiplayer is going to be their focus.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not even going to give that a shot. And then it got really good reviews from what I can remember.
Yeah, it did.
So that's why I skipped it, and then it was free, and the people told us we should play it, so I played it.
Yeah,
and I liked it too.
Let's start with multiplayer first, and then we'll jump into the single player after that. One of the big reasons that I don't like online competitive multiplayer shooters is because I suck at them, and I feel like I don't contribute at all because I'm just too busy sucking to contribute. I just die constantly. But what this game just has a really great balance of, if you're really good at first-person shooters, you're going to like it. If you're not good at first-person shooters, you'll still feel like you're contributing because they have kind of grunt enemies that aren't really other players, like NPCs in the online match, which works great because you kind of feel like you're constantly doing something. You're not just searching the map for other players. And then when you get in a Titan, you just feel like a badass even if you suck at it. Like, it's just... it just feels good. And also I think the mechanics, being able to move around the map really fast, like all these things add up to you're going to have a fun time even if you're losing. But the real thing, it's like, oh, losing is fun, is because then you have to run to that ship at the end of a match to get to the ship at the end and to to evacuate the map. All these stuff just add up to, wow, I suck at this game, but man, am I still having fun playing it, which is just something I don't usually get with competitive games. If I'm not winning at competitive games, I'm a sore loser, and I hate it. And that wasn't the case with this. I think it's honestly, it's quite an achievement from my perspective.
I think what made me open up to the idea of it, and what ultimately made me succeed in having fun, was playing with a group of people. I think it's the same thing you experienced with Borderlands 2. Like, you were like, I just kind of enjoyed having fun playing with people. I didn't like the game too much. I happen to like Titanfall 2, but you didn't like Borderlands 2. But yeah, having a group of people, especially when it was so many of you guys like recurring, being able to play, especially, I love that the squad was a size of 6 rather than 4.
Yep.
Because I feel like that's a nice healthy size where like you can get some randos in there. And it also is like not so much of the team is riding on you as one of 6 versus a quarter of the team.
Yep.
So I think that helped out. And I think I just had fun chatting with people and screaming and saying fuck you to whoever I beat, because it was rare that I was ahead of somebody, except for one week where I was good one week. I don't remember which one it was, but well, good for our team. I was still below whoever the rando was on our team every single time. Yeah, I had a blast with it. I think I didn't realize it till right now, but I think you're right. Having a mix of NPCs, of like regular, I guess they're NPCs, enemies, as well as real life people against you really helps, because you can shoot some of the dumber guys to earn points. But I think the real beauty is in the sudden shift that a Titan can make. You're doing some work as a single pilot, but then you call in your Titan and you can just wreak havoc. Or in some rare situations, you call in a Titan and you're immediately destroyed. But yeah, being able to have a card like that you can play that's just like, I'm about to fucking destroy everyone for a second, I think is super cool. And then whenever you get 5 or 6 of you versus 5 or 6 other Titans, it's just like, it's so cool. Nothing about that is not cool.
Speaking of that kind of collaboration with your team as well, and kind of being through a team, it's really cool to like, okay, I got my Titan ready. Who else is ready? Let's just trounce on these guys. 5 Titans at once. It's a really kind of fun moment to kind of cooperate in that way. Yeah.
So I think I'm not necessarily not an online multiplayer kind of person, as I'm just I don't like doing it with rando strangers. I really enjoyed our little community, and I look forward to playing more with you guys. I love you so much.
So I think that to me that kind of fills my thoughts on multiplayer. It was a lot of fun. I thought some of the perks, I didn't really delve into that too much, just because it seemed like there was a lot there. I kind of found the thing I liked early on, so I just kind of stuck with it.
There are a couple of things that in the multiplayer experience, as I mentioned, again, had fun despite us losing 90% of the matches we played.
Yes.
But I feel like there were times when I wish I would have played. Having played both now, I wish I would have played the single player first.
Yeah.
To really get an understanding, mostly of the Titans.
Yep.
Because I really didn't understand like what the differences were on all the Titans. I didn't really understand what the weapons were. I was just kind of jumping in. It was like, oh, I've got this electric thing going. But now that I had a chance to play the single player modes, going back in the multiplayer, I would have chosen stuff so much more strategically.
Yep.
And I would have made sure that weapons were complementary to each other. So that's the only thing, is I wish I would have played the single player a little bit at least first before jumping into the multiplayer. Which is the one reason why, after barfing this game, it's still on my PlayStation. I haven't deleted it.
This is the first time I have not deleted a game immediately after barf. I usually delete games right after we're done recording the final episode. I'm keeping it too, because I kind of want to go through that multiplayer again and play some multiplayer. Do you want to transition to that single player campaign?
Yes. Speaking of single player, what a campaign!
Yeah, in your bra.
In your bra. Oh, so it was short, and it wasn't a crazy, amazing story. Like, you're not looking for something from Horizon Zero Dawn or Last of Us or anything like that. Like, the gameplay elements and the set pieces, I think, what were some of the most revolutionary things I've seen in the first-person genre, whether it's shooter or platformer or adventure, whatever it is. So much fucking cool stuff.
I'm going to play it again.
So much more. I was looking at the trophy list, and I've already gotten all the online trophies, and I'm like, I might platinum this. You do have to play through the whole thing on like the hard difficulty, and I did find some of this already challenging, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so the story wasn't necessarily the strongest, but I still liked the relationship with BT.
Yes, I did like the relationship with BT.
Yeah, I thought that worked out really well, and the story was good enough where I'm not like, oh, this is so stupid. Like, what's going on? I'm like,
right.
This is kind of it's more of a setup. Like, you are a pilot who's now stranded on an enemy planet in enemy territory, trying to collaborate with this Titan named BT to get back to your team and fight against the enemy. And I'm like, all right, cool. That works as a really simple story for a first-person shooter. But you're right, it's the set pieces. I kept thinking
the story is a reason for these set pieces and this relationship to exist, and loved it.
And the set piece, I kept thinking, like, man, it cannot get cooler than that time travel one of going back and forth, which is still probably the highlight of the whole thing to me. But it just kept going with like, okay, now you're fighting against like 20 Titans in this huge like battle setuop. Okay, now you're jumping from
like
ship
Saving
to
Private
ship
Ryan style almost, where you're just like on this desolate battlefield.
It is just so insanely badass from beginning to end. I think the short campaign length added to that. There was no fluff. It was all greatness.
Yeah,
just from beginning to end. I don't have any complaints about the single player campaign at all.
Yeah,
at all. It was basically perfect.
There are 3 things I really wanted to call out. One of them was the time travel that you mentioned.
Yeah.
What? I mean, there have been Link to the Past, 100 different games that have like, oh, you've got to travel back to a different version of this world and do something. But the time travel elements in this, that they're working in real time.
Yes.
And it's the click of a button and you're instantly switched. And you can be like, oh my gosh, there's a monster leaping at my face. And then I like, boop, fast forward to, or rewind to the past, and oh, he's gone. And I'm in a safe room. Or maybe I'm in a room and there are other soldiers there too.
Sometimes I just die immediately because I'm like, oh shit, I didn't expect these guys to be here. Then they're just dead.
Yep. Or I'd get myself in the opposite situation. I'd be like a pool of soldiers and they'd be shooting at me, and I'd flip over and I'm like, whew, I'm safe. And then 5 beasts would attack me at once. That was so fucking cool. And I can't imagine, like, it allowed you to do so many things. Like, I found myself, I was shooting at a guy who had like a shield. So I'd shoot at him to distract him, swap time, run behind him, unswap, bang, take him out from the back. Or I would use it as like a way to run away and get space from enemies a lot, rather than just a platforming mechanic. We're like, oh, the way is blocked. You got to go to the past, and there's a path around. That's where we've traditionally seen those kind of things go.
And they did that stuff better than anybody else too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but going to the enemies, we'll get to the platforming side of that in a second. There's also, if you pay attention to the dialogue, you'll hear enemies going, "Oh my god, where did he?" When you come back, like, where did he go? Like, it's like he's moving around. I've never seen anyone do this before. Like, it was just really cool to kind of hear them responding to you in that way as well.
Yeah. I also can imagine the compute power that it would have to take in order to, because it's 2 levels, 2 sets of enemy AI that they have to be running concurrently at a moment's notice for you to switch between. I cannot imagine what they had to do to make that work.
I have no idea. I mean, maybe they kept it in RAM, but that seems crazy as well. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't have any issues with the game, like loading or struggling with frame rate or anything like that, and it was great.
Yeah, that level surprised me for that exact reason. I kept going, how do they do this?
Yep.
It's miraculous. But also, it's so satisfying when you hit L1 and it switches over. It just feels mechanically great to do that at the same time too. But then going to the whole platforming side, like you said, like, oh, like, you got to go in the past and then cut the tree down and then go in the future and then the tree's gone so you can make it through that path again. It wasn't quite like that. It was more like, okay, well, there's a wall here. I'm wall running right now, and there's a laser grid coming up, so I have to switch at the right moment so that I can avoid a laser wall. But then there's something flaming in front of me in the past. I have to switch back and forth again. And they built up to that really well throughout the entire level as well.
The only other game I can think of that has platforming stuff like that, similar, is Guacamelee.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Guacamelee does that so fucking... I can't remember whether 1 does it a lot, but Guacamelee 2, you're switching back and forth between the light and dark world on the flip of a switch.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, too. At the end of that level, there was a moment where the thing malfunctions and all time is frozen. You have to go scan the arc. And I thought you just see the explosions and shrapnel everywhere, and the music swells, and everything else around you is completely frozen. I was like, what a fucking cool moment. I turned around, took a couple of screenshots, because they don't have a natural photo mode in this, which sucks, but took screenshots. And I was walking up things, and you're just like jumping from thing to thing. It's like, oh my god, this is so fucking cool. This is something you see in a movie, like fucking Inception or something like that. And in fact, I think the trophy was Incepted or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool moment. And then the level that it started, it's like in that factory where they're building the pre-constructed homes or offices. And you're just riding the conveyor belt for the first little bit of it, and then it's like adding a desk, adding a human, and just like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then like they'll turn sideways and you get a wall run on. And then they start putting them all together, and the whole thing turns sideways, and you've got to get to the top of it. And that, it was like breaking my brain. I was literally like turning my head sideways while I was jumping up stuff. Like, what is vertical and what is horizontal, and what am I trying to jump to next? It was so freaking trippy and cool. Loved that.
And with those kind of trippy levels, including the time travel level, there's never a point where I'm like, oh, okay, where am I going? This is too much. The level design is impeccable.
Yeah. Loved it.
So those are your three things?
Those are the three. Yeah, time travel, freezing time, and the construction place.
So this game has made Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order immediately my most anticipated game for the last half of this year. Easily, because this is the same guys. And if you look at, I actually went back and rewatched gameplay footage, that kind of like half-hour footage they released for Star Wars Fallen Order, and it's using the wall running. It's using kind of cool platform mechanic, and I'm like, oh shit. If they can execute as well as they did with this, that game's going to be fucking insanely good.
Yeah.
Like
they definitely have, it seems like, the platforming mechanics down.
Yeah. And the combat mechanics. I mean, they haven't done anything quite like Fallen Order with like swords and all that kind of stuff, but I don't doubt they can do it at this point. Like that. And
they've got to translate it from a 6-hour experience to a 20, 15, however many hours this game's going to be too.
Sure, but they're also, it's only the single player as opposed to having multiplayer and single player. So I kind of feel like that's going to be okay too.
Yeah.
Maybe the story won't be as good, but honestly, the gameplay I think is going to be so strong.
I'm very excited for it.
In all seriousness,
that wall run. That wall run is so satisfying.
It really, when you're wall running and then you wall run off something else and then one more time and then you have to do that huge leap over to another platform to jump on it and continue running, like just how you're increasing in speed and it feels like you're going so fast and your adrenaline's going up. It's just
and at the very end when the pieces are moving in and you're like, I don't know if there's going to be something there to catch me, but I'm about to jump, and then something does swoop in, and you wall run off of it, and it's like, oh my god! It was like the Warthog level at the end of the first Halo, when you're just like everything is happening so fast, and you're just adapting. It's so satisfying.
Like in the level, I think it's called the Arc, where you are going from ship to ship, and there's one point where one ship swoops over, so you can run on the ship you're on, then over to that ship to wall run on that, and then back out of this other ship you originally came from.
Yes.
What? It was just so cool.
Yes.
Also, just BT when he throws you. I know that you don't really interact with that beyond just getting his hand and he throws you, but it's still so awesome.
Yep.
I still loved those moments so much. And then also the boss encounters I thought were really good too.
That was such a cool little thing. Like in so many first-person shooters, especially like trying to be more military focused and things like that, it's hard to have boss battles. But to be able to take these characters and put them in Titans that are all unique and they all have different styles, that really made for a cool thing. And to build their characters up throughout with using the audio logs and stuff like that and the communications, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, very, very well done. This is the best BARF game I've ever played so far in our history of BARF games.
Oh, I played so many, I don't know if I could say that, but it was great.
No BARF game has made me go, oh my gosh, this developer is someone to pay attention to. I can't wait for their next project because it's going to be killer, and I can just trust them. I haven't had that experience yet with a BARF game. I'm sure someone will pull up an audio and be like, actually, Holden, you're a fucking liar. Here's you said that same thing about something else.
Well, it's because you never finished all the other games.
Touche. So this game just really, really surprised me. It is a crime that Titanfall 3 apparently is not being considered.
Yeah.
It really is a crime. I'm going to re-download Apex Legends.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, now that I understand these gameplay mechanics and I understand and I've played with people that I like and enjoy playing with, maybe I'll download Apex and we'll play that during one of our community days this month.
The only problem with Apex is that it's 3-player teams.
Yeah.
So
we may have to like split up and have like get 6 of us to play 3-on-3.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll be 3 versus like 3-on-3 versus 3-on-3 versus literally the rest of the 100 people that are playing.
Right, yeah.
But I'm very excited. I'm very excited for that Fallen Order.
Yeah, me too. Can I tell you one thing I was disappointed in?
No, you're not allowed to say it because I don't want to hear it.
Damn it! I really loved the relationship between BT and your character, Cooper.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Cooper, I think it was.
Yeah, Jack Cooper, super generic name.
Yeah, not Lieutenant. He's something else. Anyway, I love their relationship. I love that like he would say a lot of idiomatic phrases and stuff like that, and BT just wouldn't understand, and he'd be like, "Oh," he was like, "Man, I'm on a hot streak," and BT's like, "I don't detect you actually being above temperature or something like that."
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff, but I wanted the design of BT to be more iconic and memorable. Because that is, I feel like I want that character. That's something that I like. I want to see kids doodling that in their notebooks. I want a statue of it. I want that to be something like Sackboy or something like the robot dinosaurs from Horizon Zero Dawn. You see that and you're like, whoa, that is so uniquely Titanfall.
That's a great point because his personality meets that already.
Right. But then you look at him and it's just like, you are a generic mech from 100,000 different properties that also have generic mechs in them. Mm-hmm. And so I wish that it was more distinct. And I understand that it's hard to do that because you can customize the playstyle and the weapons and all of that kind of stuff. But I feel like there's something they could have done to make them more unique.
Especially since he's a character in the single-player campaign as one of the options that you get in multiplayer. Yeah. They could have done something more unique with him. I think, honestly, that I'm going to look at any of those mechs and just be like, BT was really great. Like, I can look at any of them and say that, which I guess is kind of a fault. It's also maybe a play. No, it's a fault. You're right. But if they made Titanfall 3, they're just going to put that little eyepiece into a really cool design for a Titan, and then that's it.
Yeah, I also... I kind of am bummed that the piece that represents BT is just a generic blue circle. And maybe if it was like, maybe if it's that whole cylinder that was his head the whole time, if that is BT, and you put that, then that piece can become iconic. Mm-hmm. But since it is just that blue orb, like, well, that can be fucking anything.
Yeah. I hear you.
What a piece of shit game.
Garbage. Don't play it.
Mm. And even during the moment where they're like trying to torture him to get him to give up the Ark, and then you see the encrypted message like, just trust me, and then you see them destroy him, and he's just like, he's dying, his lifeless body's there. Like, I was like, I'm feeling something for a robot right now.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Feeling something from a robot from an online multiplayer shooter game.
And this is something to go back to Fallen Order, because all this just makes me go, Fallen Order is going to be so good.
Is this a BARF episode about Fallen Order, or is this about Titanfall 2? It is
now a BARF episode about Fallen Order. Well, actually, there won't be a BARF episode about Fallen Order, because it's not going to be a backlog game. I'm playing that game as soon as it comes out.
Yes.
Fallen Order also has a dynamic between you and a little robot. So I'm like, oh, okay, that dynamic
It wouldn't be a Star Wars game without a baby robot, or a Star Wars property without a baby robot.
Sure, but their writing team knows that dynamic already. So it's like, oh, man, there's just more reasons to think Fallen Order is going to be amazing. Super pumped about it. Soup's pumped.
That was the game. Isn't that the game we said we'd fuck?
I don't remember.
Marry, fuck, kill. Star Wars. We would marry Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Wow, more so than ever.
Woo! How apt.
Good marriages, you fall in love more than once.
We fucked Control, and we killed Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Well, that's all I got to say about that, Chad.
Perfect. That's it for me too.
All right.
If you guys want to vote on next month, do it in the month of August. We're going to put out the poll probably like the third week of August. Respawn Aimfire, Patreon. Patreon.com/Respawn Aimfire. That's it. And then if you have a PS4 and Doom, we'll definitely be playing that Tuesday, the first week of August is this month. and then
So-
maybe we'll play like Apex or maybe more Titanfall or maybe Overcooked or something like that. We should find a way to poll people about what they want to play for Community Day too.
We should do that. Yeah.
Great, super great, great. Love you
Great.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.